Harihi Om. Sai Ram, Vanakkam, Namaskar, Vandanam, Assalamu Alaikum, and Sat Sri Akal. Happy New Year to all of you. And today we look at something called detachment. Detachment. What does that mean? There's a question, right? Can we live in this world? Can we live in this world if we have to become detached from everything and everyone? Well, if that's a question and someone has just asked me that question, then my answer would be, but that is a wrong understanding of the word detachment. See? It does not mean you should not own anything. It simply means nothing should own you. That is detachment. Let me repeat that. Detachment does not mean that you should not own anything. It simply means that nothing should own you. Ah, beautiful. Detachment here refers to detaching yourself from all sorts of toxicity, people, places, things, activities. Of course, the biggest culprit that you need to get out of or detach yourself from is this thing called desire. It's always constantly, consistently insisting that you get this, do that, go here, say that, desire. Vivekananda says, desire your desires. D-E-hyphen-S-I-R-E, desire your desires. How? Well, first you must detach yourself from the thoughts, then you detach yourself from the words, then from the actions, because they're all connected, isn't it? Because you'll only say something once you've thought of it. You want to say something nice, you say something nice, and you do something nice. You want to say something nasty, you say something nasty, and you do something nasty. So the thoughts precede the words precede the actions. So that's why I'm saying detach from your thoughts, then detach yourself from the words, then detach yourself from the actions. So tell you a story about a Swamiji, a Rishi, and something called a mysterious light. So a long time ago, in a mountain, there were two caves side by side, right? Two Rishis, two Swamijis went in there and they started to meditate. Cave, neighboring caves, right? One beside the other. They spent most of their time in deep meditation, except the time when they had to come and eat, or, the times when they were just taking a short break and they see each other and they talk to each other. Right? Apart from that, they're always in the cave meditating. People came to know that these two Swamijis are there, and they came to see them. And they got so much of joy from talking to them even for a while, because the Swamis were giving them so much of knowledge and information and teachings, those sort of things. So they always felt peaceful when they came to see the Swamijis, people from the neighboring villages. And that sort of continued, they took that feeling back with them. Now, what they noticed over a period of time was one cave was particularly dark. I mean, caves usually are dark places. And the other cave was, somewhat illuminated, there's like a golden light inside the cave. So you can see, there's a golden light coming out of that cave. It was not strong, but it is enough. It was noticeable, and people came and saw that light, and that got more people interested. One is a dark cave and the other is a bright cave with some golden light coming out of it, So people began to wonder, what is this light all about? Hence, the story of the Swamiji, the mysterious light. Now, the visitors began to grow, but it grew more because of that question of, what does that golden light mean? Does it mean one Swamiji is more powerful than the other? You see the limitations of the human mind, right? And we are attaching everything they see. This again goes back to having the right perspective and focusing on the right thing. They didn't have that. So they thought maybe the Swamiji in the Golden Light Cafe is more, cave is more powerful than the Swamiji in the dark cave. That's what they all thought about. But they never really could ask the Swamijis, right? Anyway, one day another Rishi came to the village. And the villagers, called him to the village. They said, "Oh, it's nice of you to pass through. But can we ask you a question, great master?" The rishi, of course, he closed his eyes and he knew what these guys are going to ask. He said, "I know what you're going to ask me. You're going to ask me about the two Swamijis and why one cave is brighter than another cave. Am I right?" He said, "Oh, wow, Swamiji, how did you know that?" Yes, yes. Your thoughts show itself on your face. You want to know why, what is the golden light, or what is the mystery behind the golden light, and you want to know if that Swamiji is more powerful than the other Swamiji who is in the dark cafe, right? So Swamiji said, "Okay, listen carefully," right? He says, the outside world always changes, but the inside world does not. So your external self always see changes, but your internal self does not see any change because it identifies itself with the self and not with anything external, right? So when in the presence of the teacher, right, listen to what the teacher is saying without focusing on everything that is around, right? Yes, we understand that, we are listening to you, but can you enlighten us on that mysterious light? You see, well, the sage says, "Okay, I'm coming there." He says, sometimes when you work intensively on the spiritual path, when you focus, when you meditate, when you concentrate so much, various phenomena can happen around you, which you may be oblivious to, right? Such as this light coming out, sounds, visions, shruti, smriti, drishti, all this can happen. However, the person who is actually meditating does not know these things are happening. This can only be seen by others who are not in the same situation as that person who is meditating. So the Swamijis are equally powerful. One sees things in the dark, right? And one sees the same thing in the brightness of the light that he does not see, but others see, So that does not mean one Swamiji is more advanced than the other. Sometimes these things come out in different ways. What you look at something and you think of it, the same person may look at that thing and think something else. It doesn't mean it is two different things. It is one and the same thing. But your vision, your perspective is different, right? So also with the people, not everybody can see the light in the same way. Some will see the light, some will not see the light. As you know, some villagers have said they don't see any light, only some of you see the light. So your experience is what will take you closer to a divine experience. So when you look at something, don't judge it from an external perspective. Judge it from an internal perspective. You need to detach yourself from the outer world so that you can attach yourself to the inner world. And that inner world, when you attach, you will slowly rid yourself of all the externalities, and then, and only then, will you see what you are meant to see. So practice detachment from unnecessary thoughts, unnecessary words, unnecessary actions, because these are based on pure desire. Once you move away from desire, then you will latch on to that thing. So the detachment is not that you should, question things, but detachment is basically the beginning of mastery. Detachment is the beginning of mastery. Detachment, Sadhguru says, detachment does not mean non-involvement. He says, you can be deeply involved, but not entangled. That is detachment. You can be deeply involved, but not entangled. Detachment is allowing others to see who they are and allowing yourself to be who you are, right? Not force situations, right? Because when you force situations, you lose sight of solutions. When you leave everything to free will, solutions will emerge. Solutions will emerge. Uncertainty is reality. Embrace it. Embrace detachment, and you will see how life treats you. Till I see you next week. Stay blessed.